Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we are diving into a fresh filing, and I have a feeling this one will have some twists. We're going to decode Theravance Biopharma's latest annual report. Buckle up, because this report hints at a company trying to figure out its next big move, all while navigating tricky financial waters. Theravance Biopharma is a biopharmaceutical company that is mostly focused on making medicines. They want to deliver medicines that they say make a difference in people's lives. They've got one FDA-approved product called YUPELRI, which helps people with COPD, a lung disease. They are also working on a drug called ampreloxetine for people with a condition called neurogenic orthostatic hypotension, or NOH, linked to multiple system atrophy, or MSA. One bright spot for the company is their COPD drug, YUPELRI. Sales have been growing and they hit record highs. Sales were up 8% compared to last year, reaching $238.6 million. A big part of that growth came from hospitals, where Theravance is directly responsible for sales. Now here's where things get interesting. The company's board of directors has formed a strategic review committee. This committee is going to look at all options for the company, including what to do with YUPELRI, ampreloxetine, and their interest in TRLEGY, another drug. It sounds like they are trying to figure out how to unlock more value for their shareholders. Basically, they are open to anything, including selling off parts of the business. Let's talk a bit about their drugs. YUPELRI, as mentioned, treats COPD. It's a once-daily treatment that is delivered via a nebulizer. They still have potential milestone payments they could receive from their partner, Viatris, related to YUPELRI. There are regulatory actions in the EU and sales milestones in the US and China. It's worth mentioning that Viatris has already filed for approval of YUPELRI in China, which could unlock royalties there. So, even though Theravance doesn't record total YUPELRI sales, they get a cut of the profits. Their share was $83.5 million for the year, up from $77.3 million the previous year. Then there's ampreloxetine, the drug for neurogenic orthostatic hypotension. They are currently running a Phase 3 clinical study and expect to finish enrolling patients by the middle of next year. If the study is successful, it could be a first-in-class treatment. A previous Phase 3 study showed a benefit to MSA patients, including orthostatic hypotension symptom assessment scale. Ampreloxetine was granted orphan drug status by the FDA. Royalty Pharma is investing up to $40 million to help develop ampreloxetine, and in return, they will receive royalties on future sales. The other big asset for Theravance is their economic interest in TRLEGY, a COPD and asthma drug developed by GSK. They sold their stake in TRC, the entity holding their rights to TRLEGY royalties, for a cool $1.11 billion. Theravance retained future value through the right to receive contingent milestone payments and outer-year royalties. They just received a $50 million milestone payment related to TRLEGY's 2024 global sales, and more payments could come in the next 2 years, depending on how well TRLEGY performs. Plus, after 2029 outside the US and 2031 in the US, they will get 85% of the royalties on TRLEGY. It's important to note that their income from TRLEGY depends on GSK's ability to keep commercializing it. Now let's switch gears and look at some of the regulations they face. The FDA has a lot of control over these drugs, and there are lots of hoops to jump through for approvals. The report also talks about the increasing focus on drug pricing in the US, especially with the new Inflation Reduction Act. It's creating new programs that could limit what companies can charge for some drugs. The ability to get good coverage and reimbursement from insurance companies is also key to any drug success. And of course, there are privacy and data protection laws that they need to comply with. This is especially important in the EU with GDPR, where violations can mean big penalties. Intellectual property is everything in this industry, so they need to protect their patents. And they're currently fighting generic drug companies who are trying to create cheaper versions of YUPELRI. They're in a lawsuit to prevent generic companies from launching their products too early. As of today, they have settled with some of the generic applicants and granted licenses to them, but still have to make sure they can launch after April 23, 2039. Competition is fierce. Their drugs will face competition from bigger companies with more resources. YUPELRI had some positive news with Sanofi withdrawing a competing product, but Verona Pharma has launched an add-on treatment, and Sanofi and Regeneron have an antibody treatment for COPD. Interestingly, Theravance highlights their company culture in the report. They focus on employee engagement, diversity, and inclusion. Their talent strategy is to provide career growth, development, and competitive rewards. They prioritize workplace safety. These points are important for keeping employees happy and productive. Financially, the report shows they operate in one segment. The bulk of their revenue comes from the US. You can find more info and follow their SEC filings online. As any company, they are at risk of potential legal compliance and litigation events. And that's the report in a nutshell. Now, let's put on our decoder glasses and take a look at the bigger picture. Theravance Biopharma is at a crossroads. The good news is that YUPELRI is generating revenue and they're exploring a promising treatment for a rare condition. They are profitable on a brand basis since 2020 and are taking steps to keep costs low, but are also aware of the potential need to increase sales, marketing, and medical affairs in 2025 as they prepare for launches. However, the company faces some serious challenges, especially in a turbulent biotech landscape where funding for long-term projects has all but disappeared from many portfolios. Their future hinges on ampreloxetine's success, a drug that could address a major unmet need. But clinical trials are risky, and their pipeline of new drugs are uncertain to generate any revenue. There's also the ever-present threat of generic competition to YUPELRI. The decision to explore strategic alternatives speaks volumes. The company needs to drive more shareholder value, but it needs to be done in a way that ensures long-term value creation, and a potential quick sale of existing assets may not be the ideal long-term move. This could involve partnering, selling assets, or even selling the entire company. So it is a wait and see what this committee does. So if you found this breakdown helpful, remember to hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more corporate decoding. Thanks for watching.